Hi, everybody. Well, I'm Web Reflection. I usually talk for what I blog and stuff I blog about. This time, for the first time, I'm talking about both stuff that I blog and also about the team, the work I'm doing right now for Nokia. So, what am I doing there? This is actually a question. When I joined Nokia in January 2010, there were many options because Nokia is doing so many things and also so many changes in the meanwhile. So I had different options, and one of those was actually QtQML, which is really cool framework, not only for devices, but also for, you can use for desktop applications as well. Then there was a third option recently, which was Windows Phone. I don't mind C#, I think is at least the second best language. So what I was thinking about is, well, what if I decide to do something for all of them? What if I decide to go for a technology that let me run in any device, and not necessarily only Nokia device, also other devices as well? Well, this was my choice. HTML5, at the very beginning, bear with me because this condition changed during the time a little bit, or better, improved. At the very beginning, I was feeling like, yeah, HTML5, yeah, I feel it. But what is HTML5 exactly? We will see soon what we are doing. So right now I'm working with other developers. Many of them are here. These are our main goals. So performance are not that easy, especially on mobile devices or tablet. ARM, CPUs, small amount of RAM, slow performance everywhere. It's actually really challenging to obtain good performance there. And cross-platform compatibility. So HTML5 is all about, ideally, all about being cross-platform. There are many apps out there that are for developed entirely for iPhone or iPad, and this is actually a bit wrong or sort of contradiction, because if it's HTML5, it's supposed to run everywhere. If you develop only for iOS, something is wrong, so we are trying to focus on cross-platform as well. Well, user experience is one of the most important things, but we still try to follow a kiss and Yagni approach, putting features that we think are really needed and try to get rid of superfluous stuff. So what is this HTML5? Well, it's really a buzzword. People are putting everything into the HTML5 word. If you ask a web agency, maybe, yes, we are doing HTML5 website. But maybe you ask, but is it really semantic? Or does it work on I less than 9? Of course it does, all right? So is it really HTML5? I don't know. HTML5 is perfectly described in the W3C. It's a work in progress. So it's nothing concrete. It's just a buzzword where people put a lot of things inside, like this list of stuff. For example, CSS3 has nothing to do with HTML5. But yes, we say HTML5 no matter what. Everything that's new goes into this big buzzword. But these are cool features, actually. We have geolocation storage, web workers, sockets, app cache, audio, and canvas. I've seen a project, somebody created a whole mix out of canvas and audio. It's impressive. And these are actually the most cross-platform speaking, the most available technologies. Coming soon, we have stuff like mic. For example, Google has already the input with the type mic. You can click it and you speak and you say something, and if you don't have a strong Italian accent, most likely it's gonna write exactly what you say there. Well, it's cool stuff. Camera as well. So maybe one day we're gonna have Skype applications without needing the native application. Accelerometers, file system, device, the download file name, to avoid server-side calls when you want to download something, event stream, struct type, array type, Parallels are right, Brandon, please. Where are you? Parallels are all this stuff that makes JavaScript so fast and cool. Not there yet. By the way, nobody scores. So all these things are in this HTML5 test. They have a massive list. They're trying to feature that, everything there. You can compile by yourself the latest WebKit nightly, enabling every single thing. And you will realize that in this page, most likely, there won't be any score. So if I can show you, this browser is Chrome, updated. It's 341, is actually a good score. But if you go down the page, you're going to see that many features, 58 of 98. What am I missing here? I have no idea. But there are many things that are not there yet. Cool part, browsers are faster and faster to implement new features on daily basis. A funny project I've done apart, just to test all these new possibilities. It was fuckness. It didn't. The original idea was to create a funny application, totally embedded in one page, or something you can even share by drag and drop, copy and paste through email. Doesn't really matter. It changed in the meanwhile. It became, I bought the domain fuckness because it was about demonstrating the anger. So there's not a single browser able to work as expected in this kind of website. This is really me frustrated. So what you can do here, there are really few things. You have settings, you can choose a file, there is a file reader API. If you go in the very beginning, you can record your own voice, because there is a voice as well. You can download your anger, restore your anger. There are many tricks out of HTML5. And nothing works. There's no single browser that works. That's quite frustrating, but never give up. So how can we solve few missing things? Thanks to polyfills, we have many implementations of SVG, even Canvas, even WebGL. Somebody created this plugin. It has to be a plugin, but it works on IE, it's experimental, and it brings the WebGL API there. So there's still hope. Web storage, audio and video, geolocation. If you go in this web page, it's a GitHub project. And really, the list of polyfills you have here is massive. The link, I'm going to share slides on my blog after this. So all these links you will have, you can just grab the PDF and click the link. Really, everything is, almost everything can be shimmed by polyfills or other technology, which is cool. But polyfills works only when the JavaScript code understands that something is missing. Classic example is the string geolocation in Navigator. Most likely, if we have navigator.geolocation, it means that the geolocation API is there, or at least we think that's how it is. Common feature detection is to understand if the device has touch events. On touch ending document, I wrote abuse in level 0 implementation because, as you know, if there is, if you can set on click in whatever element, then, or you can set the click event in whatever element, the on click int element will be always true. I don't want to bother you with why I prefer using the string in object rather than object.string, but if you want, you can have a deeper look later. So is this really bulletproof? No. This is actually, can produce false positives in many ways. For example, I had this add event listener here, new XML HTTP request. It's supposed to tell me if the XML HTTP request is the version 2, which supports on progress events, supports many other events that makes the already state change task easier. So Opera, in this case, it was Opera. They fixed it as speed light, but Opera had this problem. They were exposing the interface, and the moment you were trying to access this interface, the whole browser was crashing, which is actually bad. Even worse, back in 2010, I started creating a sort of, let's call it component. So the idea it was to handle all possible cases, touchscreen, trackpad, mouse, whatever it was, IE, whatever it was supposed to work in a similar way. At that point, Android version was 1.6, and I had this 8TC device. The native operating system was supporting touches, and funny enough, even the device, the browser was supporting touch already. But how to trigger the touch event, or how to know if the device had this, is supporting this touch? So the classic trick on touch and in document was false, but mouse events are always there. For backward compatibility, touches could be there, couldn't be there, but mouse events are always triggered somehow. Not necessarily the way we expect. Mouse over, for example, doesn't make sense on a touch device, but, well, they are there. Funny enough, I tried to set the touch start event because specifications were saying, hey, the browser should support touch events. Something horrible happened. So the moment I was clicking for the first time the screen of this device, that's the moment that the browser was injecting the whole touch list, touch, and everything else, and there was no way to know in advance if the device was really touch capable or not. I really get nuts that at that time I start thinking maybe somebody drank my coffee, and then what happened? So the question was, how do I really understand if the device supports touches or not? And also, how do I understand if the device supports multi-touch? If you think about touches, you have a touch end in document. So this trick, the touch end in document, works nowadays, works almost everywhere. It's true. It tells you that the device may support touch events. But there is really something wrong on this, because why there is something wrong? So the aim of feature detections is to be as much future-proof as possible. But what I wrote is true. So the past, the present, and the future of touch events is really unpredictable. Why is it unpredictable? Somebody did this. What the hell was that? So put a keyboard, put a mouse on an iPad, and you're going to realize that the mouse fires mouse events. There's not touch events anymore. So I understand that on touch and in document, I set only touch events. My application, will it work? Well, most likely the user will try the mouse saying, wow, my mouse is broken. Or try the device, say, my finger is broken. I don't know. It's just, something is wrong. So we shouldn't predict in advance how the user want to use the device. Another example, this was the first image I found on Google, but Asus released this transformer device. I never seen it, but I've seen the video. Apparently, transformer. What is it? It's a tablet. Oh no! It's a laptop. What? If you put a mouse beside this, it doesn't work. Transformers actually is a cool example. If they are this shiny, freaking expensive car on the road, yeah, the world is perfect for them. All streets are perfect. The moment they transform in something bigger, different, unexpected, they start destroying everything around. They don't fit anymore. It's just nothing works. But we don't want this. The user should be always able to use the application, should be able to decide. So I touch the screen, I want to use touch events. I use the mouse, I want to use mouse events. We cannot decide in advance. So there is a trick, a particular trick I came out at that time, and that I strongly recommend, but it's something not really widely adopted. It's about lazy feature detection. So this is a proposal, this is not this is actually on GitHub. It's some simple code just to show you the concept. So here we have an object. Features will be just an object. the object with the three methods, has, set, and get. So how does it work? Has tells you if a feature has been detected already and returns the value as well. Set actually set the features and trigger an event notification. And get gives you back the value of the feature. This is an example. So let's imagine this is inside a closure. So the global scope is safe. So we have this function detect. This function detect just try to understand if the type of the event does not contain mouse. So mouse in the meaning that I'm setting all possible events, mouse move, mouse down, mouse wheel down, mouse scroll, touch start, and only touch start is the event that doesn't contain mouse with this regular expression. So at this point, I know for sure that the user touched the screen rather than using the mouse. As soon as you load a page, user pan the mouse over the document element, I instantly notify that touch events are not present. The user is, the pointer is a mouse, it's not a finger. So the important trick is to use capturing phase on the document level. So the document level on capturing phase is the very first DOM that received the event, and the capturing phase let us add events eventually on the bubbling phase, which means that we can add event listener feature detect, and if the key is the one we decide, the key in this case I decide to call it touch, and the value is true, then we have touch events. Otherwise, we have mouse events. This piece of code actually works. I forgot to push it on my server to show you, but it actually works. And the good part is once you set the common DOM event with the bubbling phase, at that point the capturing doesn't matter anymore. So the bubbling will work, and we don't miss the very first interaction on the page, which could be the scroll or the mouse down. So this is something we can detect. Still, if you want to work only for touch, then a touch ending document is all you need. But ideally, desktop or mobile or phone, one day all this difference in terms of application may disappear, because these devices are so innovative, so powerful every month more. And to create a very different experience, I don't know if it's going to make sense for a long time. The touch list is another undetectable thing, at least in line. In many browsers, the touch list interface can be there, but there's no way to create and init the touch list. So even if we do try catch, there is this library is called NW event. NW event from Diego Perini. He's maniac of feature detections. He has done so many feature detection there. When I told him about this Android 1.6, he was like, what? How can you even think to go out with a product like that? Well, in that case, this library doesn't work, and doesn't work even now with the touch list, because every touch event is wrapped into a touch list. Touch list doesn't mean the device supports multiple touches, while, for example, to test if on gesture start, on gesture change, or gesture end in document is not enough, because gestures so far are only implemented into iOS. But if you have an Android tablet with Android 3.0 tablet, modern enough, most likely you're going to have multiple touches. So at that point, you can implement by yourself the equivalent of Apple gestures. So similar concept we have seen before, but at this point we had an event called touch start, still on capturing phase. We cannot remove this listener until we are sure that the touch length is greater than 1. At that point we are sure that the device exposes both touch interface, that's for sure, because the event is called on touch start, and multiple multiple touches. So we can start to think, okay, maybe this is the entry point. At this point, I can implement my own gestures implementation. I can do stuff that I thought it was possible only on iOS. Or the UI may change because we realize that there are more possibilities for the user. There are many other weird cases, and one, unfortunately, is Symbian browser. It kind of works with Canvas. There's nothing it's not that bad as a browser, especially the latest one. But unfortunately, there is this draw image which drove me crazy. And the thing is that we are working with the map applications. We would like to place image on a canvas. Of course, we would like to do that. So even if I run this piece of code, the get context 2D will be perfectly valid. The draw image call will not raise an error. And my previously downloaded image, since has been previously downloaded, I'm sure it's there. And what happened? Well, you wait a little bit. You think, maybe it's drawing. Nah. So nothing happens. It's just no errors, just nothing on the screen. All these common features detection will fail in this case because HTML canvas element in window, it will be true, but it doesn't tell us that the canvas is fully implemented. So for us, this is not enough. Try document, create element canvas. So this is the classic trick. Hey, is there a canvas? Is there a context? Probably yes. Is this enough? No, this is not enough. Unless you know that get context and the API you use in your project is supported, and this is enough for you as a test, then, well, I never see anything on the catch. The catch, how do you fall back? I mean, most devices have no flash player, so probably you should redirect the browser or the user into something else. This Canvas partially implemented API is a perfect example where user agent sniffing still makes sense. User agent as a technique to decide if the browser should be supported or not is really bad. It's really 90s. It's something like, okay, we have better patterns, we have better techniques. We have many libraries that do this for us. Modernizer, for example, that I forgot to mention in the previous slides. But in this very specific case, user agent tell us, hey, dude, no way this device can work. We tested it, and we are sure, so we create our blacklist of devices that shouldn't be supported or that should have a different behavior or a different fallback or whatever is supported for that device. Let's say, don't worry about Symbian browser. We have a native map application there, which is definitely, being native is surely better. Or it works, at least. We know what we can do there. Another thing about HTML5, so the main difference since ever between web application and native application is that native applications, they have the freedom, they are trusted code with the freedom of creating files, changing files, storing files, using database, whatever they want to do. Well, it would be cool, at least is step number one to even think to create an application. We need to store data, and data has to be persistent. Or the user, every time, will have to reconfirm, rewrite, redo everything, and this is not good in terms of experience. So this is one of the most cross-platform objects we have now available, and you can use it already. There are many problems that could come out with this object. First of all, 2.5 megabytes, for example, may be not enough. If you want to track a lot of things that the user is doing, and you want to track the whole history or every single action in order to provide a proper control Z or undo, stuff like that. So a lot of instructions, 2.5 megabytes may be not enough. So also, the other problem is that almost every application is including external libraries, and we don't really check if the libraries is using the local storage. So it's not just about a namespace in the local storage key. This is not the only problem. The problem is that we don't know how greedy could be the library, or how greedy we could be for the library. So if you use local storage .set item key value and you think that's enough, well, most likely that's not, because the moment the storage is full, we have a problem. So first of all, set item should always be inside a try catch, because the moment it fails, we have to track the fact something went wrong. But we are at that point we have double problem, because what do? We don't know. We can clear all our code. Yes, that's a solution. But we have to be careful, because if we clear all our code, maybe something was important, something is not. There's no timestamp, there's nothing. So the local storage is really not enough. And also, if we clean the whole or every key on the local storage, the risk is that we are breaking other libraries that are using the same. Another alternative is AppCache. AppCache is really cool. It's created to let you, so the browser do not require internet connection anymore. The browser just use what's in AppCache, and that's it. So if you don't have the message, you need to go online, you don't have any of this. If you either you go on the same URL or you pin the application on the home screen, the AppCache, if there is connection, goes for the internet content, but still is using what's available offline already. The side effect, or the thing with the problem with AppCache is that there is no way to, or it has not been created to be used at runtime, so we cannot add, remove, and clean and change things the way we would like to, because our application is dynamic. So AppCache is not a solution for this problem, where to store data. And here we have Web SQL database. Well, I'm a big fan of SQL. It's so semantic, simple, fast. Is optimized on database level. It's so easy to use, and it's already everybody almost know SQL, because many web developers, they have done bits and bobs of server-side development, some query, and if you have to select, insert, or update, I don't think there's anything easier than this. There are a few limits, but this will be really ideal. Also, they are all based on SQLite, which is so fast. It's easy, fast to use. And has been abandoned because, of course, it was too fast and too easy to use. It's still there, but this was my reaction when I read the announcement. So, Opera, WebKit, generally speaking, Chrome, who else? Well, Safari. So everybody but Mozilla browsers and IE browsers supports SQLite. At least for Mozilla, there is a way to bring SQLite back to the web through a XUL component or an add-on. Here there is a link, it's called DB.js, is on GitHub as well. I'm waiting for Mozilla folks to approve if that will ever happen. It's cool because in Mozilla, what's missing usually, there is always a way to create an add-on, and add-on are quite, for Mozilla users, add-ons are not this plugin concept. No, I don't want dependencies or anything like that. So it's something we are investigating, but at least we know that there is a possibility. Still, it's not about blaming anybody, it's about finding solutions. We need a place to store data. So we already know that as soon as we support a browser that supports IndexedDB, we're gonna go for it. It's an abstract layer, most likely on top on SQLite, same way as local storage, most likely is a single table key value per domain on SQLite, synchronous in that case, so be slower. But doesn't matter, it's good enough. We don't know, or at least I never tested it yet, so I don't know the limit, if there is any limit. I've seen just one example, how to join two tables, comparing IndexedDB and web SQL database. So I think it's 10 lines of code for the web SQL database, and a nightmare for handling everything by JavaScript for IndexedDB. So hopefully we don't need many join. Well, Internet Explorer Mobile 9 has no web SQL, neither IndexedDB. I think also the desktop has none of them. Google Gears is not a valid solution because the project has been abandoned as well, is dead. They say, hey, we have a web SQL, who needs Gears anymore? Premature. So what we have seen till now that actually this is a fact. There's nothing for granted. You cannot think that HTML5, I go HTML5 and everything will magically work. That's sci-fi stuff. But still, at least we can test a lot of things. We can test as much as possible, and we can make some concrete assumption about touch events, for example. Opera Mobile supports touch events almost in every platform I tried. WebKit is so fragmented. It's impossible to say what WebKit supports and what it doesn't, because it's a constant surprise, WebKit. Safari Mobile has been there since ever. Touch, multi-touch gestures, these events are working properly. I personally never had any problems with that. They made it right, but apparently for every other vendor, it's not that easy to bring touch events there. I don't know why, because if you develop a native app, you have multiple touches, the event is fired, everything works as expected, then browser in the middle, and we have problems. i9 Mobile, I wrote partially hackable gestures. It's not really, it's not worth it, not even worth it to go there. It's just not there yet with touches. Hopefully i10 will. WebOS, at least all have no touch events. WebOS is firing mouse events. A touch device that fires mouse events is brilliant for me. The order most likely is mouse move, and then mouse down, and then mouse up. I think that's something weird. But all you can do with WebOS is click. The tablet, I really tried to buy it. It was too late, 5 minutes after. Hardware acceleration. The hardware accelerated canvas is also something really hard to detect. We don't know. We just hope there is hardware acceleration, but we can't say for sure, at least the impression when something is really fast or reasonably faster, that some Android phone and some Android browser into some Android phone has hardware acceleration. Same for tablet. Do not give for granted that if the tablet, say, Tegra Core, NVIDIA, Ultimate CPU power, do not give for granted that the browser exposes or is using hardware accelerated canvas, because you may realize that it's actually slower than many other systems. iOS 5, if you have tried the beta, I totally got what Zynga guys said yesterday. iOS 5 is really a good platform for canvas game development. Unfortunately, the limit on iOS 5 is that WebGL doesn't seem to be there, but the canvas is at least 30% faster. It's amazing, and same software, same everything, 30% faster, unbelievable. BlackBerry, yeah, it works. I didn't try yet, but they claim 40% performance boost, so it has to be hardware accelerated. i9 Mobile, that's brilliant. You can draw some chart and some, I don't know, advertisement, because you cannot interact with the canvas, so it doesn't matter how fast it is, you can interact with it. So, well, at the very beginning, at least me, I was really convinced that everything would have been so cool, so advanced, so innovative. Then, with the time, I became more conscious about what does it mean HTML5. There are many things we can develop, and we reach this point. So we have been able, at the end of the day, to go out with an application that works almost perfectly the same in all platforms that we want to support. And that was such a good achievement, because with all these walls that we faced so far, it was, at some point, I was even thinking, maybe I give up, because why I should do this? It's cool. That's right now, it's still beta, so if you have problems, it wasn't me. Is mapsnokia.com, is the mobile version. Well, much more is coming, but the lucky part in this job or in this team, the lucky part is that we are doing a lot of research and development. To be honest, until now, I never found a company that gave me actually time to properly understand what was going on and how to implement things properly. So we still believe that HTML5 is the way to go, surely the best way to go cross-platform. There are limits that we are facing on a daily basis, and if you are developing HTML5 apps not only for iOS, you perfectly understand what I'm talking about. So HTML5 is still my choice, no doubts about it, but right now, this is the mood, this is the situation, challenge, and find solutions. Especially do not use hacks, because hacks may be dumped the next release of the browsers, and even to think about the release of the browser, it doesn't make sense on mobile. The WebKit, the version of WebKit doesn't really say anything about capabilities. That's it. Thank you. Any question? Next one? All right, please, I just care of your opinion, so please, if you think it was good or if you think it was crap, doesn't matter, just let me know. Speaker rate, JSConfEU 2011. Thank you very much.